And then the finale at Delmont, Pennsylvania, Steel City. We're just about set to get underway. The board goes sideways. There's Emig and Henry side by side. Let's check out the start. Here at Washougal, the 250s are underway. Henry with a good start. But on the inside, it's Brian Spud Walters. He gets his first hole shot and moment of glory. Boy, it looks like a cavalry charge.
Emig got closed out right away. Henry got out good, moved to his right, closed him off. He's smart.
David, you can see visually now, if you get a bad start, how tough it is to break away early in this pack.
There's Emig going by right there, just stuck. Can't go anywhere. It's like starting a 10K or a marathon about 8,000 people deep. You can't run as fast as you can because there's too many people in the way. So look at Doug out there, clean track, second place. Jeff Emig rather, just going by right there. So it's going to be tough for him to work his way up now.
So the attack starts from Doug Henry on Spud Walters. Walters has been in 2 previous main events, the first 2 of the year. His highest finish was an 18th in the very first Moto at Glen Helen.
Still got the lead right here, but he can hear Doug right back there behind him.
David Henry's starts have really helped out his chances in the points race, haven't they? They've really protected his lead when no one was really willing to make a charge in the points race.
Well, guys are trying to, but he goes for the lead right there. And once he gets out front, everyone's forced to do all the hard work. Puts all the pressure on them while Doug's just out cruising in front. Sometimes before they get a chance to make up all that ground, they get caught in a pile up or go down, and then it's even worse. So Doug's just been getting out clean, the smartest way.
2 hole shots in the last race at Troy, Ohio. In fact, he's got 4 hole shots in the last 3 events. Let's go down to Davey.
Pete, an excellent start for Doug. He's starting to pull away already. Yeah, Doug was a little bit nervous coming into this race. You know, I drove with him from the last race to here, and he had really talked about gearing himself to win this event because we know we just can't sit back and wait for Jeff Emig to come up here. But with Doug having such a, he's got a little bit of a lead, it'll give him some chance to settle into the track at a pace and calm him down, and if somebody comes down to chase him up, I think he'll be ready for the battle.
Since Budds Creek, Doug Henry has not scored an overall victory, but he's moved his points lead from 28 to 43 points. Here you see our leaderboard with Henry, Lusk, and Albertine, the top 3. Koikita also in the top 5.
Well, now Lusk worked his way right through traffic, got himself into second.
In front of Koikita.
Yep, clear track up to Doug. I'm anxious to see now if Lusk can close that gap. He's pretty fast in practice. This is the kind of track, though, where somebody like Lusk, very aggressive, gets on the power. That power and that 2-stroke, as compared to Doug's bike, really hits hard. So he could get himself in trouble here today if he goes too hard.
Lusk, Koikita, and Albertine as we look back in the pack, and we'll be back with more 250 action. Welcome back to Washougal, where Ezra Lusk is in second place in front of Greg Albertine. A good points battle there as Albertine has slipped from second place to 3rd in the points after his performance at Troy, and Lusk has been putting on. He got a podium spot at Troy with a 4-3, racing well after adjusting to that broken arm.
I like the way he got to the whoop section too, Art, following Lusk. Didn't look like he lost much time, but he had a timing through there, jumping 3 at a time. I always like to try to find a timing where I could do something the same every lap instead of just coming in there and going, oh, okay, here we go again. He's just rolled the dice. He's staying pretty close to Lusk right here. Hard to tell right now if these guys are making or losing any ground on Henry. It seems to be staying about the same.
Henry trying to pull away. Whoa! Lusk fishtailing right there. Did a spray job on the crowd.
That's that power I was talking about. That bike hits so hard. I mean, it's good power, but it's so much on this slick surface. You see some powder and you think, oh, I can just nail it right here, and then it's real slippery underneath. They just got away from him a little bit.
Our leaderboard, Larry Ward slipping into the top 5, and Lance Smale. Doug Dublock, some names from the past there. Smale, good 4-stroke rider. Greg Albertine in 3rd place, fighting to get back and try to make a nice push contention-wise as the season winds down.
They're still in there. I mean, both these guys have a chance at this title if Doug makes a mistake. Right now, Doug kind of out there in a weird place, really, Art, with a big lead. It's like, how do I attack this? Do I just really go for it or be careful? I think the answer is keep doing what you've been doing. As soon as you start to change things, you lose that rhythm.
Absolutely. He's been amazingly consistent, never out of the top 5.
He's won a couple of 125 titles and a 125 Supercross title, so he's not a stranger to winning titles. He knows what to do, but this one's different now. It's against a lot of different riders. It's been a long time since he won a title, and this one's the 250 class. Means probably a little bit more to him, and he's got to be a little nervous.
Lusk with 1 win on the season, and Albertine has 1 second place and 2 third-place finishes, but has yet to take an overall victory this season. Into the whoops.
He's charging through. Yeah, I don't think he could go through there any faster than that. That was amazing. Look at the gap he got on Albertine that time. That was just perfect. And you really got to commit. When he went into that section, he's just wide open.
The 125s were slipping a lot right there in that mechanics area, whereas Albertine goes all the way to the berm.
Yeah, if they're going out and using anytime they can use a wall, cushion, these bikes hit a lot harder. See, as soon as that berm ends right there, that's where he left that big stripe there on the gas. It's very difficult to read the soil. That's a tough section right there. Yeah, they dig up a few holes through there just to make it interesting. Try to get the guys to go out and use another line, but everyone still goes right through those holes.
Well, you can just see the roost of Henry in front of Lusk. Lusk is picking up space on Doug Henry now.
I think he's picking up the space, and Albie's hanging right there with him. There's his mechanic getting ready to give him some inspiration.
Here we see number 4, Larry Ward, trying to pick up on Koikita. Koikita gaining some valuable experience before going back to Japan to battle in the Nationals there. He's improved steadily this season.
He's gotten some pretty good starts, too. That helps. Anytime he can get up and run with these guys, learn quite a bit. Back there in 20th doesn't help.
Yes, and Larry Ward, not interested in learning from Koikita, makes a quick pass.
Yeah, see ya. I got to get up there and dice with the leaders. Still early in the race, you can see him, especially when you drop down out of the woods right there. You got this S-turn section right in front of you. You got to be pretty far behind not to be able to see the guys just ahead of you going through that S-turn. You kind of get a read every time you drop down if you're gaining or losing time.
Larry Ward with a couple of second-place moto finishes this year takes the berm around the big sweeper. Albertine with a 2nd overall here last year as we hit our Suzuki flashback. Guess what? It's from last year. Jeff Emig and Jeremy McGrath battling it out in the first moto, but it was Jeff Emig victorious. His 14th moto win of the year. And it was this day in Washougal that would end up Jeff Emig with a 99-point lead and the number 1 plate the next race.
This race was really the turning point the year before. Handed Jeff the points lead, which he eventually went on to earn that number 1 plate right there. And this year here, just padding his points lead and gone his way to a 2nd title.
A good getaway in the 2nd moto for Emig. Weather conditions very similar. The track looks like a lot ruddier.
A little more hard packed to the woods section. And you can tell by Jeff styling for the fans that it was another easy race. Picking up another win for the sweep.
It would be Albertine with a 2-2, and then Jeremy McGrath would pick off the 3rd overall. As Jeff Emig comes down for the checkers in the 2nd moto last year. Right now, he's battling in 5th.
Not too bad either, considering how far back he was on the start. We saw him go by. Look at the time he made up through there. He made up about 5 bike lengths on Koikita. And that's the whoop sections is actually where he had all his, that's what got him started off on the wrong foot in the Supercross season. Eventually he hit the deck and sat out the remaining of the season, as a matter of fact, to get ready for the Nationals through those whoop sections. So he kind of had the mental block.
Yeah, the psychological. Whoa, and he slips out on that very slick Washougal track. Jeff Emig picks up, has to start all over again, it seems like.
That's the section where I just talked about Albie coming out of the corner, that berm ending. You're still laid over, and all of a sudden there's nothing for that back tire to grab a hold of. So this is not the kind of moto Jeff wanted to have, coming off 3 wins. Let's take another look what happened. He lays it in. Everything's looking perfect here. Then the berm ends, loses that wheel, but watch right here. See this hand on the clutch? Keeps the bike running. Sometimes it's just important to know how to crash. So he doesn't lose much time. He gets right back up, doesn't bend anything. He's back in action.
Oh, it just goes to prove it can happen to anyone. Here you have the winningest Kawasaki 250 national rider of all time with his win at Troy, Ohio. That gave him one more win on a Kawasaki than the great Jeff Ward.
That's saying something, because Jeff Ward raced forever. And he stayed with the Kawasaki team the whole way. It wasn't like he switched around. He wasn't able to rack him up.
14 wins on a Kawasaki, 1 on a Yamaha for Jeff Emig as we check out our leader once again. Doug Henry. How's he hanging in there, David?
Looking pretty good still. He's got enough of a lead where he can relax, take the lines he wants to take. He's squaring things off. He's doing things a little bit different. And I talked about in the 125 class, being able to go out and use the cushion, make a pivot, and then gas it in a straight line. Anytime you're in a straight line, you can be a lot more aggressive and not worry about the back end getting out away from you.
This is the same track that Doug Henry got his very first 250 moto win on a Yamaha back in 1996. He was 11-1 for a 4th overall. We'll be right back to check him out a little bit later. Welcome back to Washougal. If you're just tuning in, Ricky Carmichael sweeping the 125s in dominating style. And right now, as we join the action of the 250s, Moto number 1, it's Ezra Lusk starting to put some pressure on Doug Henry.
I'll be right there with him still, following him the whole way. I like that. He's been patient. Usually in years past, you see Albie trying to go for the win, get everybody all at once, go down. Here he's been smart, letting the race come to him. These guys are really starting to close on it, on Doug Henry. He kind of held it for a while, but losing ground now. Once you get close like this too, it just really starts to snowball. Everything unfolds because the pressure, everything changes. Doug starts to ride different because those guys are there.
Well, Henry's gotten the whole shots. For instance, at Troy, he got a whole shot in both motos and ended up a 5-2. He's been patient enough, though, for the points race to hang in there and not drop way back.
Oh, even if he drops way back in this, which would be to 3rd, let's say, that's not too bad in terms of the points chase. And he'd be disappointed, like to win the race, but shoot, I'd rather win the title.
So would Doug Henry. Doug Henry, though, still in good position as he comes off the Chuck Sun jump.
And just motoring around that berm around the outside. We saw Larry Ward go around there before we went to break a little while ago. Those guys are, I can't believe how fast they're going around that wall. It didn't used to be there when I raced. I wish it would have been, because that inside berm was never any good.
It's a fast track, very narrow in spots.
It's good, though. It's a beautiful track. It's just one of the ones I didn't do well on, so therefore I kind of didn't like it that much. But I mean, look at it. It's in a beautiful setting. A lot of history here.
And today, in the distance, you might be able to even see Mount Hood from this beautiful area in the Cascade Mountains. Doug Henry, Ezra Lusk, and Albertine are top 3. It's been pretty consistent. Ezra, though, has picked up the space on the leader.
You can see Ezra now looking like, to me, he's being a little bit more patient, really cruising through these corners. He knows he's going to get them.
You know, that reminds me, over the last several races, David, Lusk has had to deal with battling Henry, which means what we called roostitis.
He's getting good at it now. You can see he's taking different lines in certain spots whenever he can. He's completely on the other side of the racetrack. As long as he doesn't lose a lot of time, and the crowd's really getting into this now. 3-way battle for the lead. Looks like really cheering for Albertine, too.
Yeah, after Troy, he came in, of course, on her interview and said, hey, I got a pound full of dirt in my mouth after following Henry. But, boy, take a look at his face before this race. And he has little pellet-like scabs all over his face, one on his nose, one on his lip. One almost went through the bottom lip.
I've been hit here on that uphill he just climbed with a rock in practice. Knocked the lens out of my goggles. Had a black eye. Wrapped up the title that day, but that's how the day started off. Pretty nervous. Tight battle with Rick Johnson, and I'm sitting there with a black eye and fat lip.
There goes Jeff Emig. Well, when he went down, he got back up at about 15th position. It's also good to see number 10, Ryan Hughes, back in the top 10 as we go back to our leaders, Doug Henry and Ezra Lusk. It has been this way for the last several laps. Lusk just looking for the right opportunity. Gets up right on the back rubber of Doug Henry, and then Henry pulls away.
You can see right here, Lusk is being so patient, being so smart, inside, outside, staying right on his tail. That really bothers you. When you got a guy that close and you feel like, geez, he's going to get me anywhere if I make any kind of mistakes. And it just forces you to be so precise, and eventually you make that little mistake. So far, Doug hasn't made any.
Earlier in the season, Doug Henry cracked a little bit under some pressure, made some little mistakes, but he's doing great right now. Let's go down to Davey.
Mike, Ezra's closed up considerably on Doug. I saw that time he told him to breathe.
Yeah, I just didn't, don't want to put too much down there. Just trying to remind him to breathe and keep loose. Maybe he'll get him in the whoops the next time.
Yeah, it's coming down to that, the whoops. You think that's where he's going to make his pass?
That seems to be the place he's making up the most time. Seems like it, so that's right before the finish, and hopefully he'll get him before then.
Dangerously waiting for the whoop section there. Let's hope it's not on the last lap if you're a Honda fan, right?
They're coming right up
Lots
to it.
of mystery.
I talked about before, I don't know if he can go through that whoop section any faster than he has, but Doug recognized that and picked it up.
Absolutely. And we noticed Jeff Emig has moved into the top 5 from 15.
It's a pretty good ride. Didn't start off too good for him. He had to work his way all through the traffic, then went down, kept it running, didn't lose too much time, but had to work hard this moto. It's funny, he's gotten some moto wins this year that are probably a lot easier than this one, and this one's going to be maybe a 5th at best.
This is incredible, the way Ezra Lusk has been able to hold the pressure on Doug Henry, and Henry not crack. Henry's taking his own lines, makes up time at different parts of the course, and Albertine is right there in 3rd should something happen.
Yeah, it's kind of two ways to look at it. For Lusk, I thought it was nice to see him have a little bit of patience, know there was time enough. If he caught Doug that fast, then he'd be able to find his way around. Whoa, fish, that's no big deal. That just so much forward momentum doesn't really cause any really problems. It looks a lot worse. But what happens is you stay back there and you give the guy in front of you a chance to respond to the areas you were making time. And Doug has done that, especially in the whoop section, and now Ezra doesn't really have any more up his sleeve.
Let's go back down to the pits now, and Davey Coombs.
Ian, everyone's watching this battle between Henry and Ezra, but your boy's right there.
Yeah, I'm hoping that maybe something happens and he can slip right by. That would be great.
That's the kind of moto Greg's probably used to. He's been doing a lot of passing, jockeying back and forth all year, but he needs a moto win here today. Can he do it?
I hope so. He does need a moto win to put him up in the points, and I'm hoping it's going to be here because it's good for his confidence for the last 3 races too.
Ian Harrison, a good friend and mechanic of Greg Albertine since the World Championship days. We'll be right back. Time running out on Ezra Lusk. He's been able to keep close. There's your white flag. The final lap is underway with Doug Henry in 1st place, Ezra Lusk on his back tire, and Greg Albertine in 3rd. Henry has not had a moto win in some time. We have to go all the way back to Budds Creek, the last moto at Budds Creek. Can he hold on? Ezra Lusk has tried almost everything in the book up until this point. What's left in his bag of tricks? I don't know, David.
Just that strong last lap he has, it applies so much pressure that may be just enough. Force Doug into a mistake, but Albertine's still right there. He's the one with a chance. Nothing to lose. Both the guys in front of him, they're protecting 1st, 2nd. They don't want to give anything up, but Albertine, he could blow it somewhere, trying something really different, and probably still hang on to 3rd.
Doug Henry with the good advantage as they go into the trees.
This is when it's really exciting. Your heart's pumping, the adrenaline's there, you're nervous. Sometimes you got to race a half hour just to get to this point. This moment. This is where it all counts. This is what makes champions.
And experience really pulls them through.
Yep. You just have all this doubt in your mind, too. You're trying to tell yourself good things, and in the back of your mind, you're going, no way I can hold this guy off another lap with this much pressure. And somehow you get through it. Feels good when it's all over with. It gives you a lot of confidence and experience for the next time.
Henry hitting the precise lines. That smooth power band. You can see just hooks up on this track beautifully out of the turns. He goes wide on the berm that time. Lusk comes to the inside, but has a little more slippage.
Well, Lusk, you could look at, maybe he could have just come all the way from the inside completely to the outside, put on kind of a dirty move. Other than that, I haven't seen an opening. We see Lusk getting a little dance there.
They're getting closer. The triad of riders, the top three. Can Henry hold Ezra Lusk off? He makes the turn into the whoop section. This is where Lusk wants to make his move. We got a lapper up front. Henry, though, plays it smart. Puts the throttle down, and Henry will take the checkered flag. What a great victory for Doug Henry after an outstanding race from Ezra Lusk. Greg Albertine in third. Larry Ward holds on to fourth, and Emig will place in fifth after going down early. Doug Henry, a much-needed victory. Let's go down to Davey Coombs.